forecast is calling for a chance of shark conga lines.
The stars of Mystery Science Theater are back with RiffTrax Live.
Santa Claus has had a rough year.
Join the guys who make movies funny as they take on Sharknado 2, the second one.
Highlander 6, The Sharkening.
A two-night comedy event at select cinemas, live on July 9th, with a second showing July 16th.
Help, I'm trapped in a screensaver!
Tickets on sale now at fathomevents.com.
Hello and welcome to yet another very special audio edition of RiffWiki Interviews. I'm Dave Chadwick, aka Sugar Ray Dodge. I am the editor-in-chief of RiffWiki.net, a RiffTrax database that anyone can edit. As many of you know, this week marks the one-year anniversary of the founding of RiffWiki.net, and we want to do something a little special to celebrate. And I think we did pretty good in that respect. This morning, it was my very, very honorific honor to be able to talk to the Riff Master himself, Mike Nelson of RiffTrax.com, formerly of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I want to thank Mike and everybody at RiffTrax not only for making this happen, but for probably being the biggest allies the RiffWiki has had in the past year. All your efforts and your support has really helped make this wiki a success, so thank you very much for that. And before we get to the interview itself, I want to very briefly mention my other riffing-related project, Mystery Science Storybook, bedtime tales based on the worst movies ever. As many of you know, this is a graphic novel written and illustrated by me. Each chapter is based on a movie that's featured on either Mystery Science Theater 3000 or RiffTrax. Pre-order for this is now available. Just go to MysteryScienceStorybook.com to get all the details for these special collector's editions that you can only get through the pre-order. All right, now that I've blathered on and on and on and on and on, let's get to the main event. The following interview was recorded on June 15th, 2015. Hey, welcome everybody to this very special edition of RiffWiki Interviews. My name is Dave Chadwick, aka Sugar Ray Dodge, coming to you from the prestigious RiffWiki.net recording studios here in glorious Weber County, Utah. And it is my honor to bring onto the RiffWiki Interviews show here. We've only had one other audio interview, that was Tommy Wiseau, and we found somebody even bigger. I'd like to welcome the Riff Master himself, Mike Nelson. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. As I told you before this interview, I may be a little on the Nick Nolte-ish side, as I do have a bit of the flu. But I promise I am not living under a mattress at the dump. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to talking to you.
All right. I'll tell you what, it's great to finally to be able to talk to you, Mike. It's a great honor for me, but I'll get into that later. So first of all, output of content was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. When I wrote the RiffWiki.net year in review of RiffTrax last year for 2014, I counted up all the full length riffs, and you guys did 22 or 20, somewhere between 22 and 24 studio riffs and 4 live shows. You've never done 4 live shows before in a year. I mean, that's insane. How do you guys? I assume that there's about 5 of you guys writing like every riff and performing all this stuff. Like, what's the process? I mean, like, how do you keep up that kind of insane schedule?
You know, it's great writers and people who know how to do it and know where to apply the energies, because by far the writing is the most time consuming, as you might imagine. Mm-hmm. Although some people still think we just go into the studio and wing it, which I guess is sort of a compliment. I think that we would be that bright to be able to pull that off. But no, it's just a lot of, we write separately. Every writer takes a chunk of the material and hammers out a first draft, which is kind of the longest part of it. And then we go through and review, and there's 3 or 4 more refining steps after that, and then a rehearsal where we'll refine a little bit more and then finally perform it. So I think we've just, over the years, learned to be a little more efficient about it and to just really have been fortunate to find really good writers.
So, let's talk about the writers for just a little bit. Of course, there's Kevin and there's Bill. That's an excellent comedy team you guys have kind of just not built. I don't want to say stumbled into with Mystery Science, but it seems like it's just formed very organically and naturally, and it's just like evolved. And that team of you, Kevin, and Bill. I mean, you know, what's it like being with those same 3 guys for so long?
David, it's a nightmare. Help me. Get out of here. This is my secret cry for help. No, it's great. I mean, there are very few creative teams that can last this long. I feel very blessed to be a part of it, to be able to keep going and not kill each other and continue to have fun doing it. I mean, it really it beats working, and yeah, it's just one of those things where we, at the sort of the ending days of Mystery Science, we were still having fun, and so we kept doing things and kept trying to do different projects together, and finally this one kind of congealed, and so I'm very very fortunate.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Mystery Science for, well, no, not really. See, here's the thing, and another thing I wanted to say, and I want to say this in a way where, I've gotten kind of in trouble with some members of the fandom and some of the Misties out there. I mean, not many, but but there are a few who they just seem to want to hold on to like the legacy of Mystery Science. I mean, which is good, but that for me, it's like RiffTrax is more relevant and to what's going on now. It's what's happening now. It's this great thing that we have going on now. And whenever I see interviews with you and Kevin and Bill, it's just everybody always wants to talk about a possible Mystery Science Theater reunion or something, which is fine. But for me, I'm like, well, I mean, we're already doing this. I mean, I don't think people can really. Some people, like they don't appreciate what we already have right now, and it's like if RiffTrax wasn't around, then maybe. It'd be like, well, let's always talk about this Mystery Science Theater reunion thing. But it's just like, for me, it's just, I feel that RiffTrax has stepped out of Mystery Science, MST3K's shadow, and kind of like established itself as its own great thing. How do you feel about RiffTrax in its relationship in the context of MST3K's legacy?
Well, I mean, I can understand people still wanting to talk about it. It's obviously how we made our bones, and this is the style of humor that we're still doing now. Mm-hmm. So I totally get that. But yeah, it does. I mean, it has to change a little bit. There's something about, doing a puppet show, and I don't mean to be flip about this. I mean this seriously because I thought about it. You kind of have to be a younger man. You have to do kind of the wackier things that we did. And I look at this as an evolution towards a little more of, like you say, it's evolved a little bit, and it's more of a voice acting thing. And we do, the updated movies require that we kind of update our point of view, and also the fact that we do good movies. It might be a subtle change, but I guess if you compare them side by side, say a season 3 of Mystery Science with what you do now, I don't think it would be that subtle. I think you'd see a pretty big difference, and I'm fine with that.
All right, excellent. Usually in these interviews, when we interview like iRiffers and like stars from movies that have been riffed, like Tommy Wiseau and Alan Ball from Birdemic, that guy. But anyway, I won't get into that.
Yeah.
I always ask to be like, okay, if you could choose one movie that you could get Mike, Kevin, and Bill to riff, what would it be and why? But when we interviewed Sean and Connor, them separately, I realized that question doesn't work. So I flipped it around on them, and I said, okay, so what movie would you guys get hundreds and hundreds, like probably thousands of like, hey, do this to riff and so forth. Is there a movie that stands out to you that you would like to throw back out there? It's like, hey, I want like someone else to go riff this movie. I mean, I think this is like your chance, like throw one back, like challenge the iRiffers, go out there, like riff this because
Yeah, like a challenge, a challenge round. Yeah, I think probably just because it's recent, but it's indicative of a certain kind of movie. The Hideous Sun Demon. Not that it's the Ne Plus Ultra, but that it's a little bit dull. There are points where it's just duller than a lot of modern movies.
I watched that the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it turned out good. There's a lot of wacky stuff in it, but writing out those scenes where they're really killing time is tough, and that requires a lot of inventiveness and a lot of kind of carrying forward the the jokes that you set up earlier and using those to kind of ride out these moments. So something like that, something that has good moments but is a little more boring. Another example might be Reefer Madness. People, they really remember the high points, the really funny points, but they forget there's just a lot of people walking along a street talking really dull conversations. So those are the parts that are tough. So that would be my challenge. Those kinds of movies that have those stretches of boringness in them.
Just long, just nothing happening.
Right, exactly.
I mean, you guys have never done. I tried to watch Birdemic once without the riff, and I couldn't do it. I was like, what? People liked this, but it's and the answer to that is no, they really didn't. But
No.
Okay, all right. So it looks like we're at about the point where we should probably be moving right along. Before we depart, I want to say, Mike, thanks so much for pretty much everything you do for the fans, but for me especially, I feel like I should say this just very, very, very quickly, because I might not ever get a chance to say it again. RiffTrax has really kind of, it's not only has given me something to look forward to and to be enthusiastic about, but it's also helped me quite a bit in my life, because what you, Mike, Kevin, and Bill, and everybody at RiffTrax, you guys do, you are the best at what you do. You strive to be excellent, and you don't settle for just being okay. And I think that's something that's really important. And in my life and in my career, I want to be. I look at that. I look at RiffTrax, and I want to say, I want to be as good at what I do as what they are at what they do. And RiffTrax has actually helped me become a better artist. Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be my style would not have evolved if RiffTrax hadn't been around, because I wanted to do a whole bunch of RiffTrax fan graphics. So I wanted to thank you really, for just from the bottom of my heart, to tell you that it's really great, and it's a great thing in my life that brings me a lot of good things. So thank you.
Well, that's very, very generous of you, and I'm touched. I won't demur, because we do all try to do our best, and to do excellence every day is a thing to aspire to, and it really makes me happy and satisfied, and so I'm glad it's coming through, and I'm glad that you're pursuing it in your own work. It's very nice of you to say. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike, and thanks again for coming on to RiffWiki.net. Thanks a lot, Mike, and I'll let you get back to whatever it is you were doing, and thanks so much for talking to us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and as you might imagine, I'm getting back to a terrible movie.
All right.
So, thanks, David.
Thanks a lot, man. All right.
Nice talking to you. Bye.
Bye.
Take 4 of the worst movies ever made.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Why are you so hysterical?
Add the stars of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Whoa, well, you have picked a dandy, people.
And you've got RiffTrax Live 2015. The Room.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Sharknado 2.
Batter up.
Miami Connection.
Taekwondo is the best.
And Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny.
The Room! He's tearing it apart!
This is your face on drugs.
Santa Claus has had a rough year.
Let's reflect on these important lessons.
He's mad because someone hollowed out his TV.
4 bad movies made funny by RiffTrax in select cinemas nationwide.
It's a little takeaway from us. Help, I'm trapped in a screensaver.
For tickets and more information, go to fathomevents.com.